I was using some Web2 provider and my monthly bill went really high. And I was like, yeah, but there is probably a better solution. And right now, like query on the IC are, let's say, cheap or free. So it means that I could just host, and then that was like really an interesting price advantage. You control everything, but you have the ease of having tools that are pre-backed. It's nice to have the same level of security, like it's really nice that, okay, cannot be compromised, it cannot be hacked, and all these things. The cost effectiveness, then the way of building or the way of shipping, because I'm the controller of everything. And then the security is the cherry at the top.
Welcome back, guys. Today I'm here with David Dal Busco, who's the founder of Juno, an open source next generation serverless platform that helps developers build and ship secure products at scale on the internet computer. And the first question for you, David, is what is Juno in your own words, and what's the main problem that you're solving?
Thanks, Federico, and first, thanks for having me. Like, really glad to be here. Yeah, that's a good question. So, I like to use Juno to build my web application. So, of course, I like to build Juno itself, but I also like to use it for my own app because for me, it's a bit like it's a bit the crossroad between using serverless function that we as used to be, like using some cloud provider, but still having that kind of feeling of self-hosted because I'm the own controller of everything. So it's on my own choice to do things. So yeah, I don't know if that speaks to anybody else, but at least it speaks to me when I'm build stuff.
And how did you get the idea of building Juno?
So, well, it's I think I started like more than 2 years ago, something like that. Don't remember exactly, but I was already part of the IC ecosystem, and I was already building some project. And at some point, I realized that I was always rebuilding the same stuff all the time. Like here's a notification. Oh, I need a data store. Oh, I need a file storage. Oh, and I just like why every time I copy paste my own code, why not make that like a kind of a solution? So that was the where it originated, and also I wasn't that happy with the tooling. And yeah, I'm a developer, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna build my own tooling because I like my own stuff. And yeah,
That's
a bit
great.
of both.
So basically, you were building on ICP already, and you basically built Juno for yourself, but then it also opened up opportunities for other developers. Basically, you found a problem yourself, then you found a solution, you built it, and you opened it up to other
Yeah.
users. This is cool. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think are the main advantages of deploying a website on the internet computer instead of the traditional internet?
Oh, it's funny that you ask because I literally thought about that because I was answering a post on the forum. So I think for me, one thing that was really interesting to nowadays is the price because I moved my own website like 2 months ago, something like that on Juno because I didn't had it done before. But like my monthly bill I was using some Web2 provider and my monthly bill went really high. And I was like, yeah, but there is probably a better solution. And right now, like query on the IC are, let's say, cheap or free. So it means that I could just host, and then that was like really an interesting price advantage. And yeah, I think the other advantages are basically the same as the one I already told you before, like the fact that I like that way of building where you are a bit like you control everything, but you have the ease of having tools that are pre-backed.
Right. And what about in terms of security?
Yeah, I mean, like it always depends the website, like I don't know, like if it's my own website where I just say, hi, I'm David and here is my blog post, like the security is not exactly the same as if it would be a wallet. So um, it's nice to have the same level of security, like it's really nice that, okay, it cannot be compromised, it cannot be hacked and all these things. But I don't think it's for say like a big advantages. It's one, but it's not like the killer criteria that make me think, oh, I should absolutely post it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So basically, in your own view, it's like basically the cost effectiveness. It's the main feature that makes you build on ICP.
So I would say like the cost effectiveness, then the way of building or the way of shipping, because I'm the controller of everything, and then the security is the cherry at the top.
Right. Thank you very much.
That's
And I was reading on X that you have already onboarded around 2,000 developers on Juno. And so I wanted to ask you, how did you manage to build such a strong community of developers? And how do you plan to expand it even more?
so. So to be honest, first we should the numbers of subscribers is not the same number as the one that are using it. Like the retention rate is probably far lower than the one that subscribed. And right now I don't have that much metrics because I'm not that much interested in it, so I don't know exactly my retention rate. Um, yeah, but still, yeah, there are few people that are always active. There are some people that deploy their website and then you never heard about them again because it just works out. And yeah, I mean, I think generally it's a developer tools, and I kind of feel like I'm a developer. You speak to developer, and either you kind of meet each other on some values and some idea of what things should be or should not be. And when it matches, then it makes a good community. And when it doesn't match, then people just go somewhere else and do something else.
Right. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think your product it's somehow similar to what ICP Ninja is doing, or what are the main differences between these two products?
Um, oh, that's a tricky one without I mean, I'm also colleague with the people that make ICP Ninja, so I should pay attention to the word I use then if I have to compare. Um, so I s- ICP Ninja, I see it more as an onboarding tool, let's call it like that, where you have your code pen, and then from that code pen, you can basically deploy canister and so on, and then take it over and continue somewhere else. So maybe it's interesting for beginner and junior developer, but also maybe interesting for people that don't have like a super strong internet accessibility, because it's maybe a bit lighter than having to install a Docker container on your own machine and this kind of things. And I think Juno is more for beginner as well, but to mid-advanced developer, and also I think it works well for indie hacker or small teams. Uh, like because sometimes you get all that overview and then you're gonna have one project and then you're gonna start the second and then the third and then you have all the tooling around it and all those people that shares a bit the same value as me. And the other difference is that right now I don't have much AI support in Juno, but that's one of the next tasks I want to do once I'm finished with what I'm currently doing. But I have to say, like, when it comes to me, like the bit advantage, but it's maybe more like like more philosophical point of view is that aside from using a proxy to send email, Juno is fully on the IC, it's fully a Web3. I don't compromise, I don't use any AWS server, I don't use anything, it's just blockchain. And yeah, it's not maybe something that sell a product, but at least from a philosophical perspective, that's a difference.
That's cool. Thank you very much. And I was thinking, would you like to show us a demo of Juno?
Sure, can do that. Let me share my screen then. Écran. Yes. All right, you see it?
Yep.
So what we can do maybe is we start, let's start an application from scratch as if I would be like a new developer on Juno, right? And I want to try it out on my machine and start building. So yeah, that's the website. You go to all the product and blah, blah, blah documentation. And somewhere here, you find a link where you can basically create a new application. So I zoomed a bit, that way it's a bit more clear, right? So demo ICP Hub Italia, right? And we're gonna build an application. We're gonna use Next because why not? We're gonna start with a demo and I will use TypeScript for my serverless function. Yeah, why not? So the thing is like I'm gonna explain that while you install the dependency. One thing that I personally like in the approach of, I don't know, no, it's a bit arrogant to say like, one thing that I try to follow, let's call it like that, is the fact that I don't want to force people to use a server or whatever. So every tools that Juno provide, they can either be used by a CLI that you install on your machine. You know, like if you don't trust anybody and you just want to do stuff on your machine, you can install the CLI. But if you want to, if you are a bit more flexible and you want to have that automation, you can set up some GitHub action. And right now, you can set up a GitHub action to deploy. And let's say in the next 2 weeks or something or like that, you're going to be able to define a bit like the sort of privilege that you want to give to your GitHub action. Like you want to give GitHub the full control, or you want to give GitHub just the possibility to change data, or you want to give GitHub just the possibility to submit changes. And this way you can build your function or your website in GitHub, but GitHub cannot do anything. And that's a bit like the way I'm following. Right, so here I got an application. I'm gonna start my backend. So if you just do hosting or whatever, you don't have to do that here. You're really following the path where you want to give a try, like storing files, storing data, this kind of things, right? So here I start front end and a back end. All right, so you see that's the application that I kickstarted, right? And just to be sure, I'm gonna wait a bit that all this stuff come up. Takes always a bit of time and the first time, but I will soon improve. Because the idea that I don't want developer to learn what's the ledger or how to install the ledger, for example. It's already there. They just wait that it's installed automatically because at the end of the day, I guess most projects gonna use it. So we are almost good, I think, right? And almost. All right, so you see if I sign in here and I'm working locally, so I create an internet identity locally and those kind of things. And I guess here, when I do that, I will get an issue, It's because, yes, I have my application and so on, but it's not yet configured. Because it's a bit like the same experience as it was how I do on production. Like I don't have yet that canister or that satellites, as I call it, that are connected. So what I should do is I go here, and that's the Juno administration console. And that's the exact same console as I ship on production. So that way, as a developer, you already learn what it would be when you work in production and so on. So here I'm gonna create the satellites. So a satellite on the ICP is a canister that comes with features, basically. Like instead of starting with a blank page, you start with a canister that has some stuff inside. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And while you do that, I will open my editor, right? Right. All right. So you see my satellite is ready. So what do? Is I take my satellite ID, I go to my project, and in my configuration, I had it for the development, right? And here I just gonna restart. And now here you see like, oh, I still have an error. Yes, but that's another error. Because now the connection is done. But now because the application has some code already, the application say, but when I try to read the document from that collection notes that exist, I don't find it. So as I would do on production, I have to go in the data store, which is kind of like a simple key store value. It's not a database, but like you can save entities inside. And here we need nodes, right? There are different permission. You got option. I'm gonna split that, but yeah, you get the point, right? And I guess that if I restart, I will have another error or not. No, right. So now it's connected, and in the demo I can start adding features, right? And this is done through a set of functions. So as Juno, I provide you library so that you can work, and you just do set doc, add a document, upload file, etc., etc. And you see here, if I refresh, you see that we find the document that I just added. And likewise, if I let's take a screenshot, something like that. If I go to here, another second entry, blah. And here I select the document. I guess it will fail because I don't have yet a space to save that file, right? And it's the same mechanism. So it's images. So here in the storage, I create a new collection images. Right, and here I'm gonna close this, submit. So here I've used upload file, and you see here now I got an image, and I can open it on the web and so on. And there are some stuff like I can set up, for example, a token so that the files remain private and this kind of things. And then I got serverless function, which is authoritarian things. That means that I can basically, there is like kind of like a hook mechanism that, for example, if I don't do anything, when I set a document, then the document is saved in my canister of satellites, right? So what I can do is I can add my custom logic, and that custom logic will be shipped within the canister. That means that I can also write some additional code for my backend, basically. So I'm gonna skip that part because it takes a bit more time and I don't want to go into coding here. But yeah, the idea is that you can do that. And also the idea is that I try to make everything that is building relatively easy, as I told you before. And yeah, so you got your function, and then you got also like the domain. So let's say at some point you want to go live and you want to have your custom domain, so you can go here, and then you got your DNS entries. You put your DNS entries, you click ready, and then it's not a, it's a DNS. Sometimes it's still a DNS, so it takes a bit of time. And then you got some other funny things like um, I can show you live. So there is also a module for analytics. So if we have a look here, for example, those are the statistics of my own website. We see that we had a spike yesterday, and then we see the referrer, the pages, and so on and so on. And I mean, yeah, it's not a Google Analytics, but like for a private website that basically do well the job. I mean, you just need the referrer pages, time zone, this kind of things. You can also add some custom event where you can say when that user click that button, that happens, and this kind of things. And yeah, you have a mission control. So that's interesting because you should imagine that me, David, as the developer of Juno, and Juno itself does not control anything except the console. So it means that you as a developer controls all your canister, satellite, and so on. And you also have one wallet mission control that controls everything too. So basically, when you sign in on the console, what Juno does, it just makes you in relation. Like it knows your ID, your principal. It knows your wallet ID, and then it just gives you back that ID, and then you are in charge. And that same mission control is also here, my wallet, basically. And yeah, so that's basically the tip of the iceberg, because around it you have all the CLI, the libraries, all the tooling that comes from it, and blah blah blah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a great demo. I like the product. It makes everything very easy. So yeah, very cool. And if we are done with the demo, yeah, right, perfect. So I see you again. And I wanted to ask you, I saw you're organizing some live coding sessions pretty often on YouTube. So maybe you want to talk.
yeah, at 3 p.m.
Right, nice. So you want to say like when you do it, so that people can can join it, and yeah, also
So,
how it works and some details. Yeah.
so basically, we started that last year, and it's every Monday at 3 p.m. And generally, what I try to do is like I try to build a product or a features. So then we have something like I don't know, like sometimes it takes 10 sessions to do something, you know? So yeah. And so you can see also like at the end of the day, like I provide function and it's always the same function. So once you know, I don't know, like 10 function, you know everything, you know? But it's more like about sharing also like the approach of how you build, what's the mental model, the architecture, and this kind of things. So that's what we do. And then when there is like big new features, like in 2 weeks, I hope, or 2 or 3 weeks, I will release something big. Then I use the code to show what I've done, basically.
Nice. So yeah, guys, if you're interested in trying out Juno and learn how it works, and you can check out the live sessions. So again, every Monday at 3 p.m. Central European time. And
Mm,
yeah, I wanted to ask you, what's your roadmap from here going forward?
yeah, it's a good question. Like, it's always a bit. So there is two aspects in the roadmap in the sense so that there is like building the ecosystem, like really from a product developer implementation. I don't know, like really the product itself, and then there is the roadmap from the Juno, like more the growth, right? And so on the growth perspective, like in the next few months, I've prepared or some friends and some colleagues are gonna help me, and we have some different activities that we are preparing. Like we're gonna publish more blog posts because it was a bit on hold. I will also attend a few videos. I plan also to try to reach out a bit like the developer ecosystem to see if there is some interest in what we are doing. So yeah, all like a bit of generating a bit more content and also trying to explore a bit more the non-crypto sphere. Because at the end of the day, it's what I mean really interesting it is trying out to convert any developers. So that's for the growth and for the feature-wise. Also, in the next few weeks, there is that new blah 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 build control things that I'm working on. It's a bit crazy. And after that, one of the things I want to do is I want to, as I told you before, there is not much things for AI on Juno right now. But while I'm not really not an expert in the field, like even like a newbie, I heard that there are various new standards now, so I should a bit explore what are those standards. Is there a way that we provide better documentation or better data that align those standards to make easier for developers to work with AI? So that's one thing that is really important. And after that, to be honest, I know that there are a few things that I want to do. Like I want, I recently added those serverless function in TypeScript, and there are some works that need to be done because it's still alpha. So I need to make more example, more feature, more things. And at some points, there is still the topic of authentication that comes in because right now support internet identity and NFID, but it would be interesting to see if there isn't more solution. But yeah, that's
Okay,
basically it.
thank you very much. And is there anything else you want to share with the community?
Um, yeah, maybe can I share my screen again?
Yeah, sure.
So maybe not for myself, but if I can show you. Uh, so there are two persons that started project this week. So you are most welcome to support them. So there is Fairtail that started like a reputation project or platform or ecosystem. And they are looking for some help to stress test what was built. So you can sign in, you get the dashboard, tax and so on, where you can vote. So yeah, I suggest you to have a look. And on the other side, there is also Gods Are Dead, which is a crafting turn-by-turn game that is also built, and they started the new release, which is really cool too. And yeah, I can also see I spent 45 minutes yesterday evening playing it, so it's really worth it. Right? So yeah, you can find those on the EX Juno build, right? And yeah, go check it out. It's really cool.
Thank you very much. So thank you, David, and thank you for being here. I will leave the link to your website in the description, and I will also tag your channel where you do the live coding sessions so that people can join. And so, guys, thank you very much also for watching this video. And if you want more interviews like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Thank you, David.
Thanks a lot.